Happy birthday, Five Nights at Freddy's. 10 years ago, the first game of the highly successful Five Nights at Freddy's franchise was released. The game was released 10 years ago. 10 years ago, the first game was released. In Five Nights at Freddy's, you enter an abandoned cartoon studio called Joey Drew Studios, where you must come across the monstrous ink demon.
Wait, what? That's not the right one? Okay, let me try this again.
In Five Nights at Freddy's, you are in a purgatory limbo with a middle-aged woman named Helen Bierce, and now you have to collect soul shards in multiple nightmare realms to gather the pieces of the legendary ring known as the Riddle of Heaven.
Huh? That's not it either? 3 toys coming to life as the devil's puppets? Exploring an abandoned toy factory? Exploring an abandoned theme park? Exploring an abandoned kindergarten? What the heck? Oh, wait. I think I got the right one. Let me do this one more time.
In Five Nights at Freddy's, you have taken the job as a night guard at a family restaurant known as Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. However, you must be very wary of the animatronic mascots that roam around at night, lest you want to be stuffed into a costume. The first game was so successful that it spawned into a franchise, a book series, a bunch of fan games and fan songs, and even a movie on the big screen. Many say that the game's lore is often confusing after the 3rd or 4th game, and that every time a new installment in the franchise tries to fix things, it seemingly only makes things worse with each new installment. Because of that, many fans of the first 3 or 4 games grew out of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise and moved on to other things, while other fans stayed with the series and loved all FNAF content equally, old or new, through and through. Despite the flaws of the later games, they still brought in a ton of fans and a boatload of cash, and they continue to grow successful to this very day. Though one thing still remains certain:
the lore, while interesting, is a bit of a confusing mess. Five Nights at Freddy's. I still remember first discovering this game back when the Annoying Orange did a Let's Play video of the first game. Yes, I used to love Annoying Orange from 2010 to 2014, but that was a long time ago. Anyways, thanks to Orange's Let's Play of FNAF 1, it helped me discover more about Five Nights at Freddy's through fan videos, fan songs, and eventually the teasers and trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's 2. As time went on with each new game and whatnot, I still loved the series very much. Though as the fame died in 2017, I also kind of grew out of FNAF. At least until Pizzeria Simulator, then I just went back to being a casual fan. But it was still a unique experience for me. Though looking back on the Five Nights at Freddy's series, I will admit that the story and lore, while understandable at times, can also be a confusing mess. And I plan to discuss more about this in a future video. But for now, I wanted to share something very unique in honor for the 10th anniversary of the first Five Nights at Freddy's game. Something that me and my friend Ghostboy have been working on for quite some time. A crossover between the original FNAF games and one of its fan games, more specifically, Five Nights at Candy's. Created by Emil Mako, Five Nights at Candy's was one of many FNAF fan games that was really well developed, and honestly had a better and more understanding lore than the original FNAF games themselves. I loved FNAF very much, as it was one of my most favorite FNAF fan games and fan series alongside Final Nights and Those Nights at Rachel's. So me and Ghostboy thought of a really cool idea to combine both FNAF and FNAC together into one big unique tribute game, Five Nights at Freddy's and Candy's. This fan idea takes place in my idea for an improved and better written version of FNAF's ever so confusing story, and is meant to be an alternate universe version of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. Now, before anyone asks, I don't hate Pizzeria Simulator at all. I love the simulator mode in the game, and the many things you could buy and add to your pizzeria. But originally, the Pizzeria Simulator aspect, as well as the Sit and Survive aspect, were originally going to be 2 separate games instead of 1. However, due to the endless theory battles and debates, Scott Cawthon unfortunately decided to rush everything so that he can finally end the FNAF series for good. At least until Steel Wool made a soft reboot of the franchise. And while the ending of Pizzeria Simulator was iconic as ever, it just feels kind of rushed in my opinion. And I feel like the ending of Pizzeria Simulator could have been used as a part of an improved ending for Security Breach, since both games share similar ending elements. But anyways, back to our Five Nights at Freddy's and Candy's idea. What is the story, you may ask? Well, let me explain. After Fazbear's Frights had burned down, the shady history surrounding Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria had seemingly come to an end at long last. Looking for a way to help bring Freddy and the gang back into a positive light, Marilyn Schmidt, the daughter of Michael Schmidt and Mary Schmidt, had been given a high budget to open a new Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location for a new generation of kids. However, she wanted to do it for more than just Freddy Fazbear, as she was also a fan of another defunct entertainment restaurant, Candy's Burgers and Fries, the place her mom used to guard at. Therefore, she combined the two restaurants and ultimately opened Freddy and Candy's Food and Fun, the biggest location in the history of both Fazbear Entertainment and Candy Entertainment. It's not Pizzaplex big as it only has one floor, but it is bigger than your usual Freddy Fazbear's Pizza or Candy's Burgers and Fries. Freddy and Candy's Food and Fun also has the most animatronics out of any of their locations, which are the new Rockstar animatronics. In this game idea, each animatronic will have their own unique design so that they're all different from one another. The main stage for this restaurant is basically inspired by the 3 stages from Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz Pizza, and contains a total of 7 main animatronics. Center stage includes Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica. Stage left includes Captain Foxy with his pet bird and first mate Chester. And stage right includes Candy and Cindy. Of course, there will be a couple of other animatronics aside from the main ones, including Balloon Boy and Balloon Girl, Blank, El Chip, Music Man, Candy Cadet, the Security Puppet, and on a museum display will be 3 withered animatronics to preserve Fazbear and Candy history, which include Golden Freddy, aka Fredbear, the Rat, and the Cat. And being an alternate universe of Pizzeria Simulator, the restaurant will also have many props and decorations from the original Pizzeria Simulator game, including these. However, aside from being the restaurant's owner, Marilyn also takes up the position as a night guard to make sure nothing bad happens at night, because despite the success and no news of missing kids, she feels as if something is still wrong. And as it turns out, the many animatronics in this establishment, with the exception of Golden Freddy, are literally being puppeteered and controlled by an old enemy of her mother, Mary, Vinny the Puppet. Vinny is aware that Mary Schmidt had already conquered her fears, but unfortunately the same isn't said for Marilyn. So each night, Marilyn defends herself from the animatronics that Vinny controls, and before each night shift, she will check around the restaurant as well to make sure everything's in order. This will be different from your usual typical FNAF game, as it will have a combination of both the sit and survive aspect from the first 4 FNAF games and the free roam aspect from Sister Location and Security Breach. The free roam sections will be before 12 p.m., as Marilyn finds a way to free each animatronic from Vinny's control. The usual sit and survive aspect will actually be what I call a reverse FNAF formula, where since Marilyn frees each animatronic from Vinny's control before the night shift, each night will become less and less difficult as you progress. Each animatronic boss will have their own unique gameplay system as you fend off or try to free each of them from Vinny's control. The more animatronics you free, the less and less difficult each night becomes. Except for the final night, because the final night is when Marilyn faces Vinny. After Marilyn defeats Vinny for good, she continues to run things smoothly as Freddy and Candy's Food and Fun thrives as a successful restaurant. However, despite the restaurant's success, behind the scenes, Fazbear Entertainment is cooking up an eventual replacement for Freddy's and Candy's. This is where a secret ending based off the secret ending in Five Nights at Candy's Remastered will show a mechanic working on a seemingly more advanced Freddy Fazbear animatronic. He calls this a glam rock animatronic, and is the first of what is planned to be a total of 6 glam rock animatronics for an upcoming top secret project that Fazbear Entertainment is working on. The mechanic even states,
"Won't stop until he stops looking perfect."
Now, I don't want to be frank, but this idea is still in development along with many other elements of my alternate take on the Five Nights at Freddy's lore. But me and Ghost Boy mainly came up with this idea together for fun, as a way to celebrate Five Nights at Freddy's and how much of an impact it's had on the world. I do plan on making more FNAF videos in the future, a few more to be exact. But for now, I hope you all enjoyed this presentation of the first of many fan-made story ideas I'll be sharing on my YouTube channel. So until next time, never stop being awesome.